Good morning, Hojo staff, students, and families. It's time to start our day, so please stand. Reach up if you have a hat or a hood, take it off. Place your right hand over your heart. Voices are off, bodies are still, standing respectfully. And we say the Pledge of Allegiance together. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We, the people of the United States, in order to form a more perfect union, establish justice, ensure domestic tranquility, provide for the common defense, promote the general welfare, and secure the blessings of liberty to ourselves and our posterity, do ordain and establish this Constitution for the United States of America. So good morning, everybody. Let's get started with some music today. Today's music selection is a huge challenge. It's a huge challenge because this is some music that we have learned but not reviewed, and so it's something a little more recent. But maybe by the process of elimination of all the other ones that we've already practiced, this is something that we haven't done on our videos, our morning videos yet. So maybe by the process of elimination, you can determine what it is, if you don't already know by listening to it. So let's try our first selection. Oh boy, that's a tough one. Okay, friends, what do you think we're listening to? What is the name of the piece that we were listening to? Think, think, think. Did you say Gustav Holst is the composer and that it is a song without words? If you did, pat yourself on the back because that was a tough one. All right, another tough one. You ready? Oh my goodness, do you remember? Okay, think back. This was one of the last ones we did together as a whole group. Can you remember what it was? The title of it is A Minute Waltz. Okay, and who is the composer? Do you remember? Did you say Chopin? If you did, pat yourself on the back because those were two tough ones and you did it. If you didn't, I don't blame you. That was tough. So we'll continue to practice. Okay, so today, let's see, for art, can you see behind me? The art behind me? Up there, maybe if I move my phone over a little bit, you can get a better look. Oh, like driving a trailer, going the wrong way. Okay, do you see that there? Oh, pretty. Do you remember what it's called? Part of the title is in French. Did you say a Sunday afternoon on the island of La Grande Jatte? If you did, then you're correct. Pretty good if you remember that one. All right, now who is the artist? Did you say George Seurat? If you did, you're correct. Good job, everybody. Okay, so for our poem today, I'm turning back to a friend that we had that we've already talked about, and that was Emily Dickinson. She's writing a poem about spring. And so since it's springtime, and those are the things that we can see when we look outside, all the things, the seasons are changing, that I thought this might be a good poem to share with you. And you remember our friend Emily Dickinson lived in Massachusetts 100 years ago or so or more, and she was the poet who always stayed inside, or always stayed on her in her backyard or in her house. She never really went out and visited people much. So like we said before, this was like, she was always in quarantine, always sheltering in place at home. So her poem that I'm going to read to you today is a letter. It's a poem, but it's a letter that she had put in the perspective of insects in the springtime. So she writes this poem as if she's a fly writing to her friend, the bee. So the title of the poem is Bee, I'm Expecting You, by Emily Dickinson. Bee, I'm expecting you, was saying yesterday to somebody you know that you were due. The frogs got home last week. All are settled and at work. Birds, mostly black, the clover, warm and thick. You'll get my letter by the 17th. Reply or better, be with me. Yours, Fly. So that's sort of interesting to think about something in a different perspective. So she wrote a poem in the perspective of a fly waiting for its friend the bee to come back, because they're gone for the winter and then come back in the springtime, in summer. So let's move on then to birthdays. So birthdays, no birthdays today, but this weekend we do have 2 birthdays. Mateo in Miss Arnold's class is having a birthday, and also Shay in Miss Ferguson's class is having a birthday this weekend. So gentlemen, I hope you have a great birthday, a great weekend. And then moving on to the Declaration of Independence. So we've been talking and reviewing the Declaration of Independence, written by our 3rd president, Thomas Jefferson, and it was written on July 4, it was ratified July 4, 1776. And when we broke, our country was 13 colonies, broke from Great Britain. We declared to the world that we were going to have our own nation, and that the reason for that was that we did not think that we needed a king, that we could govern ourselves. And we declared to the world that we were no longer going to be subject to the king, and we were going to be a self-governed country. It had never really been done before. Democracy was something that has come to us from the ancient Greeks, but not in the form of a republic, the way that we were structuring our country. And so this was really an experiment to see, could this work? Could people do this? And so far, since 1776, we've been successful. So we were declaring to the world that we have the right to become our own country. We assume those rights from the laws of nature, or nature's God. And that the reason we know we have this right is because we are given some rights from our Creator. Unalienable, it cannot be taken away. Life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And that governments are only there to protect those rights for the people. They're not there for the whim of the king, come take your house or your property or tell you where to live or what you had to do. We don't believe that. We believe that we could govern ourselves and be successful at it. And they were stating this to the world. And then they said, whenever a government becomes destructive of the rights of the people, of those unalienable rights, it's the duty of those people to throw off that government and to create a new government, which is based on the principles that all men are created equal and that we have these unalienable rights. And so we're going to recite the Declaration of Independence up to the point where we make that statement. So let's see here, just make sure I stop at the right spot. So let's say it all together up to that point. when in the course of human events it becomes necessary for one people to dissolve the political bands which have connected them with another, and to assume among the powers of the earth the separate and equal station to which the laws of nature and of nature's God entitle them. A decent respect to the opinions of mankind requires that they should declare the causes which impel them to the separation. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, and that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, that to secure these rights, governments are instituted among men, deriving their just powers from the consent of the governed, that whenever any form of government becomes destructive of these ends, it is the right of the people to alter or to abolish it, and to institute a new government, laying its foundations on such principles and organizing its powers in such form as to them shall seem most likely to affect their safety and happiness. Okay, friends, thank you for doing that with me. We'll add the next line on Monday. So, parents will be sending out an email, if you haven't already received an email from your child's teacher, that will be changing instruction for next week. We will have some more papers for you to pick up if you need to pick up more materials, or if you want to log into the app, which is only on, you only need a phone for the app. You don't need to have continued internet access to be able to do remote learning. So there will be an app. For kindergarten and first grade, it's Class Dojo, and for the from grades 2 through 6 will be Edmodo, and you should be getting an invite or some instructions from your from your child's classroom teacher. Now on this app, there will be some assignments and some directions. It's really important that you follow through, because even though we are not technically in the school building, school is still going on, and a report card will be given at the end of the semester. So our school year was supposed to have ended on May 22nd, so that's when it will end, that you will be given a report card. Now this year it's just going to, for this quarter, all your classes will just be pass-fail. And so in order to pass, you have to participate. And participation in getting your report card is an important part of being able to be promoted to the next grade level. So it's really important that you participate and do your very best. If you have circumstances that prevent you from being able to access the app, or to not be able to pick up the materials here at the school, then please contact me either by calling the school from 9:30 to 12:30 each day, or you could email me at principal@hojoacademy.org, and I can make an arrangement to get those materials to you. So everybody should be taken care of. You can still get breakfast and lunch from 9:30 to 12:30 here at the school, and come in and switch out some books. Just drop them off. The books that you have for the readathon, drop them off in the bin. We'll disinfect them and put them back with the others, so that you can just kind of recycle and get those, get some new books if you're running low on material. So for the readathon, let's see who is in the lead right now. So our top leaders for the class, in 4th place, Miss Marshall's class, 1st grade, still doing a good job reading, because Miss Arnold's class is also in 3rd place. In 2nd place, Miss Wilson's 5th grade class, and in 1st place, Miss Stefke's 6th grade class. Now that's kind of been the same for quite a while now. Since I've been doing announcements, there hasn't been much change there. Mr. Williams' class is close. Come on, Mr. Williams' class, get up there. Get into the 4th place and give Miss Marshall a challenge. And for students, individual students, let's see. In 4th place, still Elijah. Good job. Miss Ferguson's class, we have a kindergartner in our top 4. Good job, Elijah. 3rd place, Harshit. 2nd, Quinton from 5th grade. And 1st place, still Cabron King. Keep reading if you want to overtake those leaders. Keep working. Make sure you're logging your minutes into the readathon, because teachers will be able to track that and see how many minutes you're putting in, and should be reading. I'm sure you're reading for 30 minutes a day, because everybody's home and there's not a whole lot to do. So reading, I'm sure, whether you're reading, students are reading on their own, or whether parents are reading to them, or whether you're reading because of it's an assignment that you have to do from your literature class. All of those count. And so hopefully next week we can start announcing some prizes for people who have moved on to the next levels. Remember to be helpful at home. It's hard for parents sometimes. This time there's a lot of stress. So students, please help your families out by being helpful, getting along, being compassionate to others. It's one of our virtues. Perseverance is another. We're going to get through this. Keep working hard. Be kind to others. Maybe make a picture or a letter, send it to somebody. Maybe somebody far away. It'd be a nice treat for them to get something in the mail, because the mail is one of the things that's still going on right now. It's not shut down. So stay healthy, keeping your hands washed, hands off your face, and hopefully we can see you all again soon. So let's say our student pledge together. I will do the good, I will learn the true, I will love the beautiful. And I hope you have a great day and a great weekend.